Although it was a bit exaggerated, this was a great look at what could happen when the woman of the household is no longer in control.
Renee is amazing. She stepped right in and took over. It was like you never left.
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. I'm back with another Proud Family episode analysis, and this is one of those episodes that is not really like a political big issue, but when you look at it, there's still something relatable. Another thing I love with this episode is that it highlights Trudy, because with the Proud Family, everything was always centered around Penny and her friends and everything like that. But this is one of those episodes that highlights Trudy as a character, Trudy as a mother, Trudy as a wife, really exploring different sides of her character, revealing how she could get jealous, and showing how important being a wife and mother was to Trudy. Because like I said before, Trudy as a character is proof that even the ones that seem to have it the most together can reach their breaking points too. This is further explored in the episode There's Something About Renee, where Oscar and Trudy reluctantly hires a younger, in Oscar's eyes, more attractive babysitter that seems to be too perfect, to the point where Trudy feels useless.
And a little pig.
She feels like Renee takes over her duties as a mother, as a wife. And that comes into another TV trope, being the wife, being the mother of the show, where it seems like being a mother and being a wife is all they have to live for. And when those duties are taken away from them, they feel like they have no purpose.
That's why we hired Renee.
But Oscar, I just want to feel useful.
You see, these moments of insecurity humanize Trudy's character and show that even the strong and confident individuals can have moments of self-doubt. It also allows for character development and growth as Trudy learns to overcome her insecurities and embrace her strengths as a mother and a wife. Another strong arc of Trudy's character as a mother is when it came to Penny and the growing pains, and how Oscar was the overprotective one. Trudy was always the one letting Penny know it's okay to grow up. But she disciplined Penny as well, where she knew she couldn't walk over her.
Mama, Daddy!
Being a wife is a full-time job. Being a parent is a full-time job. There's no manual on how to do it. You essentially learn as your child grows, and you have to have that balance of being nurturing but being stern, letting your children learn from their own mistakes. And Trudy was the perfect balance of that. This starts even going back to the beginning of this episode, There's Something About Renee, when Trudy comes home to a mess.
Oh my God.
And instantly she feels like she has no control over the situation. She has no control over her household. So she decides to come up with the idea to hire extra help.
Oscar, I can't do this anymore. I think we need professional help.
And with that, the family goes on a whole journey of trying to hire a new babysitter slash housekeeper. But most of them are just not cutting it.
And I don't believe in timeouts, just hard time.
Next, and I love you. Next.
But you want to know another funny thing I want to bring up before we even go into like her hiring Renee, right? It was the fact that when Trudy brought up about them needing extra help, Oscar immediately thought that Trudy wanted a divorce. So that goes to show where his head was at.
I'm not going to marriage counseling. We can work things out on our own. Please don't leave me. Baby, please don't leave me. I'll change.
Relax, baby.
Because, you know, the man, right, is supposed to be the breadwinner of the household, as society says. But Trudy was. She was the one bringing in the most money. And she let it be known.
We can't afford a housekeeper.
I can.
Oh, here we go again.
But I also thought another interesting point brought up in this episode is how Trudy settled for Oscar. So why can't she settle for somebody that's not so perfect to take over the house, which is going to come back to bite her in the end?
Oh, come on, Trudy. You settled when you got married. Why can't you settle now?
Yeah.
When you met her parents, you can really see why. Trudy comes from a wealthy family, uptight, strict parents who want the best for her, who pressure her into doing the best, marrying the best. And they're not too fond of Oscar because of his behavior and lack of financial stability. But even with those kind of pressures, Trudy seems to have it together, at least most of the time. So after going through dozens of interviews trying to hire the perfect nanny, perfect house sitter, right, Oscar finally answers the door to Renee. In true Proud Family fashion, is it me or did they highlight Renee as like the light-skinned savior of this episode. Like I said before in the colorism episode with Noah, they purposely designed Noah to look the way he did in the episode. They purposely designed Renee to look the way she did, have the skin tone she had. Because if Renee was a darker skinned character, I don't think it would have had the same effect in their eyes. What you think about that?
See you, Trudy. Have a nice trip.
Not so fast, Oscar. And close your mouth.
So, after going through the interview process, Renee answers all the questions basically perfectly, right? And Trudy is reluctant, but she eventually obliges. She hires Renee, but she doesn't hire her. She doesn't go along with it without hesitation.
You're hired.
Not yet. I agree she has some good qualities, but I'm still skeptical. Okay, Oscar, it's time for me to go. Now, I made a list of a few numbers you might need.
911.
And the thing that really got me in this episode is that last moment before she drove off to her convention for the week. Renee and Oscar waved her off like Renee was about to replace her.
Enjoy your trip, Mrs. Proud, and don't worry. I'll take care of everything.
The thing is, the whole time at the convention, all Trudy could think about was Renee taking over and replacing her, and how much things was just going to go to shit when she wasn't there. Because although she knew that Renee seemed perfect, she thought that there was no way that this girl, this young girl, was just going to make everything better. So she ran back home.
And we're still not here. We're still not here.
But here's the thing though, imagine thinking everything's going wrong, imagine thinking your family's missing you, but when you come home, they treat you like this.
Hello?
Who is that?
She looks familiar.
And even your babies don't even want you to hold them no more.
I know my babies miss Mommy.
Trudy wanted somebody so perfect that she didn't realize this perfect person can end up taking your spot.
Well, thanks to Renee, Penny doesn't have any problems in math anymore. Oh, I wish all my kids had a parent like you, Renee.
She's not Penny's parent.
Little pig, let me come in. And the little pig said, no, no, no.
But that's the thing. Many people, many women, many mothers in that situation don't realize that you put so much effort and time into finding a different babysitter. What if that housekeeper takes over? And your kids, your husband, this one, that one, ends up liking them more than you. And that's another great point I wanted to bring up with this episode and with this premise is the fact that I see this in real life too. You see it in movies, you know, them Lifetime movies, them thriller movies, where the wife feels overwhelmed. She wants to bring in a babysitter, a housekeeper to take over, but she really ends up taking over. And even emotionally, not just physically, where it's, oh, I can do this, I could watch kids. Emotionally, she's more emotionally available to the kids, sometimes even to the husband. And things go downhill from there.
Sometimes.
Always?
Not always. No. Sometimes. That means sometimes.
So I want to ask y'all, have any of y'all ever been in that situation, or have y'all witnessed or observed something like that where the babysitter ends up taking over in a way? They're so used to being around the babysitter because the parents are always working or always doing this, that when they finally get time to spend time with their kids, the kids are like,
I'm just a little cranky.
it gets to the point where even Trudy's neighbor and best friend comes over and she acts like she forgot about her too.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that you had company.
Sunset, it's me.
So then Trudy comes up with the plan to try to catch Renee in the act of doing something malicious so that she doesn't seem so perfect. But it doesn't work because everything Renee does is perfect.
Oh, thank you, miss. You saved my life.
Trudy finally breaks down to Oscar how she's been feeling and how she has to fire Renee because she's too perfect, and it's almost to the point where her perfection is making Trudy seem invisible.
Since she's been working for us, no one needs me anymore.
This is another topic I want to talk about when it comes to the woman of the household, the mother, the wife, and keeping up with these duties of being a mother and a wife, having some type of control. And I can even relate this to my own personal family, my own life. Like, even think about something as simple as like Thanksgiving, helping out on Thanksgiving. You know how most of the times Let me know if it's y'all. But most of the time, it's like the woman in the household, like your mother, your grandmother, your aunts, want to be the ones cooking and cleaning and doing everything. I help out, right? But as I've gotten older, I've always asked, oh, you know, especially my grandmother, like, oh, can I help out? Do you need help doing this? No, I got it. Like, my grandmother wants to be in control of making the meal, or at least the bulk of it. Kind of like this thing where a lot of women like to have some type of control over the household. And as a disclaimer, there should be nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're the woman of the household. And this whole idea of like what a man, what a woman is supposed to do in the household, what the wife, what the husband, the father, the mother is supposed to do in the household, even though it's kind of like y'all come together, y'all decide that on your own, right? Or just have it be a equal thing. But sometimes the little bit of control, or the control that a woman has over her household, when that's lost, that's when things go wrong. Especially when it's at the hands of someone else.
I feel pushed aside, forgotten.
Finally, after thinking it through, Trudy goes to the agency, talks about getting rid of Renee, and they talk to her about it. It's like, oh wow, this is a repeat thing. Like, Renee has done this with other families, being too perfect to the point where it drives the mother or whoever in the family crazy, because to the family, they don't measure up to Renee. Trudy finally comes to the conclusion that she has to handle this on her own.
But you want to let her go because she's too perfect.
How did you know? I think I'll clean up this mess on my own.
I don't need help.
As Trudy comes home to a messy house like she did in the beginning, she realizes that this is her mess to clean up. Like, you know, you might want extra help, you might want this, you might want that, but at the end of the day, some things you just gotta deal with on your own. And her home finally feels like her home.
Mom, you're home. Mama, what's for dinner?
It's good to be home.
So to wrap this up, I feel like this episode was a great look at the different sides of Trudy and how it could feel in general to be the mother or the wife and to lose a little bit of control that you feel you have. And I just wanted to ask y'all, what did y'all think was the message? What did you think was the premise of this episode when it came to Trudy hiring this perfect babysitter who almost took over her role and made her seem useless?
I just want to feel useful.
When it comes to that whole idea of the babysitter taking over the duties of being the mother or being emotionally available, have y'all ever had that situation where when y'all were younger, y'all had babysitters that y'all connected with more than your own parents, or do y'all witness it? Or what do you think of that whole idea of a housekeeper or babysitter taking over in a way that the parents just can't seem to? As you get older, you start to look at these different episodes in a way where it's like, wow, I never thought about it like that. And I really want to know y'all thoughts on this episode of The Proud Family, where Trudy simply felt useless. And Kiwi wants to know too. And I feel like when it comes to Proud Family episodes like this, they could be interpreted in many different ways. And I can't wait to read your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.